All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes human being American and YouTuber Ronan. Alongside me is the host and creator of this program, Al Talabil. And as you can see, uh, tonight's film is the classic Steven Spielberg film Raiders of the Lost Ark, starring, of course, Harrison Ford, Karen Allen, John Rhys Davies, Paul Freeman, Rolf Kahler, Ronald Lacey, William Hootkins, and Alfred Molina, and I'm sure a few other people I'm forgetting. Um, of course, this is the original,
Yep, the original.
and and as far as I'm concerned, still the best Indiana
Yeah.
Jones film.
Oh yeah.
Um,
It's my top 100 in my the top five, top 10 of my top 100
hmm,
films. Must see of all time. Certainly the greatest. Brings back a lot of memories. I remember seeing this back on the big screen a couple of years back when they came for a short time in a little small uh, theater, the old theater that we have here in Tucson, and it was nice to see on the big screen. So I highly recommend if it goes back on the big screen for any time. You guys get yourselves to the theaters and try to see it in the theaters because this was also one of the ones that pioneered the summer blockbusters. So yeah, one of my all-time favorites. Uh, wow. Did we read the synopsis?
well, all right. The synopsis on a Fandango at home reads as follows. Get ready for edge of your seat thrills. In Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indy, as played by Harrison Ford, as feisty ex-flame Marion Ravenwood, Karen Allen, dodge booby traps, fight Nazis, and stare down snakes in their incredible worldwide quest for the mystical Ark of the Covenant. Experience one exciting cliffhanger after another when you discover adventure with the one and only Indiana Jones. Of course, this is rated PG, but would probably be closer to what a PG-13 would be today. This is
Yeah.
one of the movies that I think definitely helped to bring the PG-13 on. Um, of course, from 1981. Runtime is 1 hour and 55 minutes.
Now, do you own a physical media copy of this film?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I own the trilogy in DVD form. I want to invest in getting it in
Hmm,
high def Blu-ray.
hmm,
Yeah, one of those high def ones. The ones that are now come in the black labeled boxes. You know, those ones.
hmm.
Uh, definitely, definitely investment, and definitely this original trilogy is worth everybody's while. All right, head on over to the screening room as we would love to bring it to you here, everybody here on YouTube. Sadly, we can only bring it to you here live in this live broadcast. This will be a fan commentary, uh,
Hmm.
and we hope you'll enjoy it and we'll watch along. Because we're restricted by copyright law and the rules and regulations of YouTube, so we're going to throw that commentary only when we start the film. So head on over to that screening room, which should be right there, pinned to both of our chats,
Hmm.
since we are simulcasting on the same Deleted Scene channel and the Outlaw Bill channel. Head on over there, and we'll start. I'll give a 5-second countdown, and we will start the film. And here we go. Here we go. Five, four, three, two, and go. Do you remember seeing this on the big screen? I think I remember seeing it on the big screen, one like a walk-in theater. But I also remember seeing it at the drive-in movies.
Hmm.
That was an experience. We went with a group of friends. We have our coolers full of whatever drinks and food. That was a good old time.
The old school Paramount logo. Of course, the mountain in the logo being superimposed over this mountain that Indy is walking in front of right now. And yes, Lucasfilm didn't just do Star Trek, folks.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Wars. My bad. Sorry.
I want to say hello to some friends.
Mhm.
Igma Service and accounting sheep. That's a wonderful cool name. And Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Welcome. Saying hello, everybody. Happy Thursday.
Of course, you have to remember that at this point, the last time we had seen Harrison Ford was him being frozen in carbonite.
Yes.
So,
Lawrence Kasdan, who did a lot of screenplays for
mhm,
the Star Wars trilogy.
right. Mhm. And also, of course, wrote Body Heat, Silverado, which is a movie we've done a couple of times on
Yeah.
the Western Show.
Right.
um, Grand Canyon, which is not a Western, but sounds like one, and also The Big Chill. Of course, this is Alfred Molina, kind of early role for him, as he would go on to be Doc Ock later on in the
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's amazing that he was practically a nobody when we saw him in 1981 in this role. But you like this character enough. The spiders are all crawling all over South America in 1936.
Mhm.
I was 9 years old when this movie came out, so I did would go out and play as Indiana Jones that summer.
And we get our first look fully at the Indiana Jones. Of course, Harrison Ford, 1 year after Empire Strikes Back, 1 year before Blade Runner.
Yeah, and I guess they were in Africa somewhere, but they were like in Peru or somewhere. Interesting fact that this particular scene, the moments came from an old Donald Duck was Dark Donald Duck a Disney film with Donald Duck and all
Hmm.
that. Yeah, and I wouldn't like all them spiders crawling on me. It's funny, they're eating the parts of his shirt and all like torn. It's like, how did they do that?
I'm surprised they're not crawling up anybody's pants leg, really.
Yeah, they must have had a spider ring or something on set. I thought the aspect of when you when you break the light is when the booby traps are set off. Like, how would they done that even way back when? They kind of bottled them a spit here. Hello, Connie Curry, the bird woman of YouTube. Always great to see you, Connie. Look out for her second channel, Fluff Chick Productions, which I hear is awesome. Oh, Connie, you don't ever have to apologize. Come on. You're our rock star wrench and supporter.
Oh, good.
So, a lot of holes in those statues for poison arrows to come out of. I like this scene. The intensity that added going up to it. Uh oh.
Crikey. Danger, danger, danger. Whoops. There you go. Right there. I threw you the wheat. Oh!
The betrayal.
Whoops!
Yep. He forgot about the booby traps.
He didn't get far.
Right here, this is that scene I was telling you about that was taken off of Disney cartoon comic book.
Of course, this is the indigenous tribe. And that guy didn't get far either.
This is supposed to be in South America, but I think it's actually was filmed in Hawaii.
And, Paul Freeman as Indy's arch nemesis, Renee Bellog.
I think that statue is supposed to be a fertility statue. Oh, I also think they should have taken the gong because that looked like it was also made out of gold or copper. Donkey! Man, I really wanted to see what kind of fish he caught there. Was it a piranha or what was it?
Yeah, it was something.
I believe that where the tribal village before is where they shot parts of Jurassic Park, since it's being filmed in Hawaii. Hail FKHC 2005, sometimes known as Kim. There he is back at the University of Illinois teaching his class.
Which appears to be mostly young girls.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's got the young admiration of young minds, mostly young female minds.
Hmm. Yeah. Yes. And how could I forget Denholm Elliott as Marcus Brody? He's also in the third film as well.
Yep,
Of course, our generation might also know him from Trading Places.
yep. Played the butler.
Mhm.
Yeah, yes. Frank Marshall is the evil woman's KK. She was married to him, and that's how she really got her name in almost every film since the '80s, because she was married to Frank Marshall. Right? We know, we know. Kathy Kennedy got coffee for most of it. It really didn't do nothing just because she was married to that guy, Frank Marshall. I don't think, I personally don't think there's a talent in that woman's soul when it comes to films or making films. But that's just my personal opinion.
Of course, on the left there, William Hootkins, who Star Wars fans will, of course, remembers Porkins. And he's also in the movie Hardware, where he plays the creepy neighbor
Yeah.
who meets his end at the hands of the Mark 13 cyborg.
Hello to our friend Big Al Presents.
Uh,
It's not beers, honey. It's the mileage. My motto. Right on, Big Al.
and the chat thing was ever since. Remember, the actual ark is still under Jerusalem because a suspected number of priests hid the ark for the last Muslim invasion. Now it's lost in one of the caverns. Well, he paid attention in class.
Yeah. He shows them a real old book with some really good graphic depictive pictures. Howdy to our friend JPRPH1. Always great to see you, buddy. Is invincible. Or if you were Thanos, he would say, what would Thanos say? Inedible.
Well, I mean, you know the reason why every supervillain after this movie never went after the Ark, right? They saw what happens. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, we're not touching that thing. We'll leave it where it is.
Our current timestamp is 21 minutes and 55 seconds. Hello, Tree Rock Productions. Good to see you. Nice to have you here with us. And here they're boarding the plane headed for Nepal.
First, we see if the superimposed map effect. Behind a bar owned by Marion Ravenwood, is played by Karen Allen.
Mm-hmm. And they're she's engaging in this drinking game
Yeah,
with this big fella
making everybody
who
under the table.
who could drink the most without passing out first. These are shot glasses. I'm assuming it's whiskey, but it might be some type of alcohol with a little higher kick. Well, the big guy couldn't handle it. He passed it out.
Indeed. House wins.
There was, she says, the silhouette of Indiana Jones himself. Now, the only film prior to seeing this in the early '80s was I saw her in Animal House. That's what I knew her from.
Or she's just thrilled to see him.
Abner being her father. Yeah, well, we're not going to talk about that. FBA.
Well, yeah, they don't establish ages.
Yeah, you know that many years younger. She was younger. Oh, hello, and welcome to Joe's Atmosphere. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well, my friend.
Hello, Joe's Atmosphere.
Indiana Jones.
And of course, she does have Madame.
I, now I don't wonder why she did this. She kept it hidden all this time, and then she just has it out in the open all of a sudden.
Hmm.
The fact that she was wearing it that close to her, probably because it's one of her pieces that her father gave her before she last seen him. This guy, this guy played a wonderful villain here.
Mm-hmm.
Very creepy German.
Tote, played by Ronald Lacey, um, who was also in Zulu Dawn a few years before this, which also co-starred Denholm Elliott. And yeah, he was kind of like a go-to bad guy, British character actor.
These two. Here comes that Aunt Joan with that bullwhip. One of the aspects of the film I really appreciate is the sound effects editing is superior. I mean, all the little acute sounds that you hear, the gun firing, the glass shattering. She hits him on the head with a log that was on fire. At the Jack Daniels, they still have that same labeling today. Yes, Tim. He's a Mongolian barbecue now. Yes. Shoot them balls. Yeah, that's gonna be hot, buddy. Did you burn your hand? Your medallion? What about your bar? You ain't going anywhere without me, damn it. Hey, look, it's that country that the liberals complain about. Free Palestine? And Cairo. Richard Riles Dreyfuss, who we come to know later in years as Gimli in The Lord of the Rings. Interesting fact, that is a capuchin monkey, what is not indigenous to Africa at all. It's an indigenous to like Colombia and places like that. If you could call them that. Yes, that monkey, the capuchin monkey, was also in. It's been in a few films. It was in Rollover, Hangover Part Two, and of course that 1995 film Outbreak. You eat them. All right, timestamp now is 37 minutes. Okay, why are we looking at a bad robot picture? What's with that, JPRPH1? Explain yourself. One thing this movie did not have a short of fedoras. There has a lot of fedora hats in this film. Where's Troy Patelli when you need him? Our fedora hat expert. Interesting thing when they shot this film, it Harrison Ford had a bad case of like malaria, so he had to stay a lot of takes where he had to stay hydrated and in cool weather because it was really hot when they were filming these scenes. Knife frying pan is stronger than your knife, and she's gonna prove it to you right now. Yeah, say a prayer. I think Marcel the monkey is that monkey that was in the show Friends, wasn't it? Marcel, bad capuchin monkey. This was Harrison Ford's idea when they were discussing this scene. It was his idea to just go ahead and shoot him. Why? Because they initially wanted a hand in hand combat type of fight, but Harrison Ford just said, "We're gonna." Why would they shoot him? I have a pistol, so he just shot him, and they went with it. You are correct in the service. I just kind of glossed over that a little bit. There are some interesting videos on Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and there's one of them that goes further into it and explains a lot. There's a good YouTuber by the name of Nick Comedic Arts. He got the 10 things you didn't know about Raiders of the Lost Ark. He does a very good segment on those. I highly recommend you if you haven't seen that, go over there and perhaps at the end I'll put the links in for you. There's a nice Easter egg. He's at the Obi-Wan Cantina there in Cairo, and I think they're going to show it here in a couple seconds. There's a lot of Easter eggs throughout this one. Then we see Belloc smoking from a hookah. Notice how the one guy is kind of looking like a guy from Star Wars. We know one Han Solo. He's got the shirt and the black vest. I wonder, is that one of the Easter eggs? Maybe. Evidently, we should have invited our friend Tim Pichelli. He's the fedora hat expert.
Indeed.
We miss you, Troy. And me, the theater.
Hmm. Good song. And I'm finished with it.
For speaking to God. Here he saved Indiana Jones is saved by Salah's children. Now pay attention to the outside. I think we're it's the Obi-Wan bar.
Yeah, the sequel has a scene in the well, technically prequel, so because it does take place before, is
Oh yeah.
there's a Club Obi-Wan in there. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm gonna mix Yeah, this
And of
villain
course, this
putting
guy,
poisoning
yeah,
the dates. Poison's usually a weapon of women. Sometimes, I guess men do it too. This home exterior kind of looks like Obi-Wan's home. Very similar. Markings on both sides. Good catch, Sala. Bad dates.
and of course, when they're digging in the wrong place because they're going off of uh, the
Oh my God.
medallion being burnt onto Toad's hand, and it is, of course, reversed.
They might have had
And,
the
and plus, they didn't get the back of the medallion, so
right.
yeah.
They might have had the wrong height on the stick too. Very intricate map system they have here.
It is.
Fella, where are you going, fella?
And
we
may this
revealed that
be.
we revealed that Marion's not dead.
Yep.
Yes, he does. This creepy guy. Hi, hello. So Indiana begins the dig on the well of the soul. I always like this little song that the workers are singing. These special effects they also did a year later in 1982's Poltergeist, another pop culture great from the. Once they get in the Will of Souls, they're gonna happy to point out a few Easter eggs in the hieroglyphics. Can you guess what they are? Maybe anyone? Bueller? 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 Now, that's a statue of Anubis. These are real snakes. They weren't fake.
Snakes.
Why did it have to be snakes?
They have to be snakes.
Asps.
Asps.
Very deadly.
Very dangerous. You go first.
You go first. Oh, gee, thanks. You damn dude. I bet you would. That was very talks with her mouth stuff in her mouth. Our timestamp is 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 22 seconds. So, do we think this alcoholic drink is a vodka, or what do you think it is? Definitely not white wine. It's got probably higher alcohol content. That's an African king cobra. Yeah.
Me?
Now, somewhere on the hieroglyphics, you see the droids R2D2 and C3PO in the
Mhm.
hieroglyphics. Right back there, you see it there in that scene they just showed it. It was in the hieroglyphics there was an R2D2 and C3PO. Did you catch it?
Whoops!
Did you catch the hieroglyphics of R2D2 and C3PO?
Not that time. I did not.
It was right when they were
So
lifting the lid.
I know it's there. It's just a little small on my
Yeah,
screen.
and it was just there for a blurb. You really have to look for it.
Ow!
Always fishing for the wrong occasion.
Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, it's also on backwards.
Not a pair of nunchucks.
No. He's always got to make a show out of things, this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. What shall we talk about?
Well, why do the British always play Nazis?
So
And why did you give your empire away?
you
Oh,
might be able to see it hydroglyphics one more time here.
hmm.
I guess not. I guess it was that one brief scene.
Well, let's think about this. What's not to like? Oh, hello.
And you'll always be second best. Yeah. Place all alone. Yeah, slimy pants.
Hang on. Yeah. Oh, okay. Give this guy to the resistance and see what happens.
I do.
I think they'd be very curious to see what he's been up to.
Right.
I'm sorry, you've been working for who?
Yeah, you bastard. And how does a freshman get pulled in with the Germans? I mean, that's weird. Anyway.
Oh, they. Well, like you said, he's kind of using them as far as he's concerned, but
Right.
still, he just wants to get to the arc first. Well, it's the Bond villain thing, Tim. Leave the hero to die in some elaborate trap, unsupervised, for about 10 minutes, and yeah.
This film would have been nothing without the iconic score by James John Williams. I for a long time I had the script of this film in an illustrated form, but it got damaged, and
Mm.
I sadly have to look for it again.
Oh, mummies now.
And that's why they call it the Well of Souls. Who were probably real skeletons. I don't think they were fake. That block or stone had to weigh about 250 pounds. So you had to really punch that
Mm.
thing to move. One of my favorite scenes, the fight, the mechanic with the pipe wrench, and then this big German Nazi guy.
Mm.
Thank you for the pictures, Tim. Much obliged, sir.
Did we do that?
Uh-oh. Aviation fuel.
Oh, way to go, girl.
Tim,
What did you lock yourself in for? Okay.
Tim, what's the name of this flying German wing? Do you know have a name?
Oh, I don't recall. Yeah. Ugh.
Look out! That's right. We remember hearing it was. It is a fake plane. It's not. It was made just for this movie. It looked real.
I'm sure it was based on some kind of aircraft that they were planning to put together.
Jones. Yep. Only Indiana Jones could fuck up things. What truck?
That truck. Wir fahren an die Flur, mach schnell. Think of something. And hello to Jack Slaw 2.0.
Hey, howdy, Jack Paw. Good to see you. Our time stamp: 1 hour, 22 minutes, 55 seconds.
I'm okay. All right. Bam!
Oh,
Get out of my truck.
yeah, yeah, yes, Tim. They use that scream in many films, like a it's like a industrial soundbite.
Have a nice flight. And we're suddenly on a cliff. How exactly? Get back up here, Sergeant.
Raiders of the Lost Ark was devised of Saturday morning cereal. Nobody's in the truck, but he was talking to the crate. You're gonna lose your hat. There you go.
Now, before anybody gets concerned, this is not Paul Hogan. It is not. Okay.
Ouch. No hard ornament for you. Yes, we want you to hit the back of our truck. Car. Children, do not try these stunts at home. We highly do not recommend these stunts. Ouch. 9.
Two, three. No. Ugh. All right. Hey. We need Indiana Jones. Why? Hey, Sala and the Lost Ark. You know. Hey.
She's gonna hit him with a mirror. Like,
Oh,
ouch! What did I say? I said, ah! That's what I said.
no, I'm not dying. I'm fine.
It's always the mileage. Here.
What doesn't hurt? The tip of my pinky is all that's left of the original me. I took a fall off of Mount Slippery. They had to completely rebuild me. I used to be a. I think he finally dozed off. All right.
Something's happening. What's wrong with that rat? Damn it! That rat's on drugs.
This fellow plays the captain. He's also in Black Hawk Down, and he's in the Harry Potter films as well.
So I it has to.
Yeah, yeah, there's Chocolate Moose. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. Das Boot. Hey, das Boo Boot. Akiba.
Cool, dog. This is where also they filmed Das Boot. Use the same hangers and everything.
You need an ending.
Is but in. Same. This is the same canyon where the droids were going in Star Wars, and Obi-Wan defends Luke Skywalker from some sand people. Same canyon, same location. That is a rocket-propelled grenade launcher. He already does. This is history.
Sorry, I had to get up. Did he swallow the fly yet? Oh, right.
Timestamp 1 hour 44 minutes 54 seconds.
Opening up the arc.
Where they do not find the Ten Commandments, but dust. Or is it? when I was 9 and I saw this for the first time, I wasn't freaked out or scared by this scene. I was just intrigued and like thought it
Hmm.
was so the coolest thing I've seen in film. Were you scared to see the scene? Did it scare you? Did it creep you out?
Uh, no, I was basically, what the hell is happening?
I still, for many years, I didn't know why he knew how to close, why he closing his eyes would save them. That was always for a long time a mystery. But then he was right to do it and tell Marion to do it. This is what happens when a Jewish director puts Nazis in their film. You could say our director was getting his revenge.
And how did they get off the island? Well, they used the sub, of course. Also, I'm pretty sure somebody saw that.
Top men. Top men. No, no, he she has to take him out to, or she has to take him out to buy a drink first. Then
Mhm.
she gets pregnant. But all that fourth film is now better than the fifth and final film. by way comparison.
And of course, if we are to believe Crystal Skull, this is Area 51.
And that was the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Never fear, Indiana Jones will return in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom to be played here at another date and time. Until then, our friend Deleted Scenes shall read the scrolls.
All right. Raiders of the Lost Ark was released June 12th, 1981. So tomorrow will be the 45th anniversary.
Yep.
Yep. All right. It was budgeted at an estimated $18 million, going on to gross over $390 million worldwide.
In some select theaters, I've seen in some select theaters are playing a double feature of this today, tomorrow, and the next day. Short limited time only, so check your local theaters. You might catch them.
The film was nominated for 9 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Director, Cinematography, Musical Score, and winning for Art Direction, Sound, Film Editing, Visual Effects, and Sound Effects Editing, which was at the time a Special Achievement Award.
Yeah.
All right. Was nominated for 9 Saturn Awards. Winning Best Fantasy Film, Best Director, Screenplay, Actor, Actress, Musical Score, Special Effects. Paul Freeman, who played Belloq, was nominated for Supporting Actor, and was also nominated for Costumes. Nominated for 7 BAFTA Awards, winning for Art Direction, nominated for Best Picture, Musical Score, Sound, Editing, Cinematography, and Supporting Actor for Denholm Elliott. Steven Spielberg was nominated for Best Director at DGAs and at the Golden Globes. And the soundtrack album won a Grammy. And it was considered Best Film at the Hugo Awards that year as well. And was nominated Best Original Screenplay by the Writers Guild of America, among many other awards and accolades that have come to be nominated ever since. All right. All right. Filming locations include the Palm Canyon Trail, Kofa National Wildlife Refuge, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Stage 4, Elstree Studios, Birmingham Wood, Hertfordshire, England, UK. Vidhavita Temple and interior, demolished in 1989. Stage 2, Elstree Studios, Birmingham Wood, Hertfordshire, England, for the interior of Marion's Bar. Demolished in 1989. Stage 5, Elstree Studios, for the map room, the cabin of Bantu Wind, and that was demolished in 1991. Stage 3, for the Will of the Souls, demolished in 1989. Stage 1, which was the interior of Marion's tent, the opening of the Ark, demolished in 1989. 38 Alder Avenue, San Anselmo, California, the exterior of Indy's house. Of course, the Washington Monument, 15th Street and Constitution Avenue, Northwest National Mall, Washington, District of Columbia. Cascade Mountains, Washington, USA. Stock footage and Indian Marion's flight to Cairo. Kailua Mountain, Kauai, Hawaii, for the mountain and the main titles. Stage 7, Elstree Studios, for the interior of the Imam's house. La Palace, La Rochelle, Serenity-Maritime, France, for the World War II German submarine base. And of course, if you do remember Dash Boot, La Rochelle was their base of operations. Rickmansworth Masonic School for Girls, Chorleywood Road, Rickmansworth, Hertfordshire, England, for the interior of Barnett College. San Francisco City Hall, San Francisco, California, USA. Indy leaves the capital of Marion. Sedela, Tunisia, City Bahul Tuzor, Tunisia, for the city of Cairo. Bunch of other places in Tunisia that I can't pronounce. And the University of the Pacific, Stockton, California, for the exterior Barnett College. All right. Trivia. There's 317 of them.
Wow. Yeah.
I am not doing all of these tonight.
No.
But
that could be another show.
Yeah. If you go to IMDb Pro, I have at the moment 2 pages there. Long story. So check those out. All right. Tom Selleck was Steven Spielberg's second choice for the role of Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford was his first, but George Lucas objected, since Ford had been in his previous hits, American Graffiti, Star Wars, and of course Empire Strikes Back. So he wanted to use someone different. Selleck was not able to take the role because he was committed to Magnum P.I. However, that series did not go into production until Raiders filming had already wrapped. Selleck was, in fact, in Hawaii waiting for the series to start. As the final scenes to be filmed, the opening sequence being shot in Hawaii. Magnum P.I. did an episode called The Legend of the Lost Ark, which parodied Raiders of the Lost Ark, complete with hat, wit, and booby traps. Needless to say, if Selleck had played the role, the character would have had a mustache. Selleck did star in a Raiders genre picture during this picture, High Road to China, in 1983. Actors considered for the role of Indiana Jones. Some of these would have been good. Some of these would have been, what the F? But I'll read the list. Sam Elliott, Jeff Bridges, Paul Amat, Christopher Guest, Bruce Boxleitner, Barry Bostwick, Harry Hamlin, Mark Harmon. He would have been good. Nick Mancuso, Peter Coyote, John Calvin, Michael Bean, Sam Shepard, David Hasselhoff, Tim Matheson, Jack Nicholson, Nick Nolte, John Shea, Bill Murray, Steve Martin, Chevy Chase,
Wow.
and of course Tom Selleck, as we mentioned. Harrison Ford was cast less than 3 weeks before principal photography began. Indy dragged under and then out behind a moving truck is a tribute to Yakima Canutt's famous stunt in John Ford's Stagecoach. In fact, it was a stunt that stuntman Terry Leonard had failed to pull off the year before in The Legend of the Lone Ranger. He was thrilled at the chance of having another shot at it, but only agreed to do it if his friend and colleague Glenn Randall Jr. was driving. The truck was specially constructed to be farther off from the ground than normal to allow clearance for Indiana Jones to pass underneath safely, and the center of the road was also dug out. In great movie stunts, Raiders of the Lost Ark, we see on the camera slate that the camera was set at 20 frames per second instead of the traditional 24. In other words, the shots were done in fast motion, so the truck was not really moving as fast as depicted on screen. Harrison Ford was actually dragged behind a truck for some of the shots, badly bruising his ribs. When asked if he was worried, Ford quipped, "No, if it was really dangerous, they would have filmed more of the movie first." During the chase, Harrison Ford dispatches all three of his stunt doubles, all of whom were playing the German soldiers. Terry Leonard plays the driver of the truck who gets punched out of the cab by Ford. Vic Armstrong and Martin Grace play soldiers hanging onto the side of the truck before being knocked off. For the DVD release, over 970,000 frames were cleaned up by Lowry Digital Images, the same company that cleaned up Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, North by Northwest, and Sunset Boulevard for DVD. To achieve the sound of thousands of snakes slithering, Ben Burt stuck his fingers into a cheese casserole. This was augmented by applying wet sponges to the grip tape on a skateboard. All right. Scroll up. Though the film was originally intended as a small, low-budget adventure, the scope of the film quickly increased as soon as Steven Spielberg and George Lucas got involved. Still, Spielberg told Lucas that he would only do the film if they could do it really fast, since he was desperate to avoid the experiences of his previous three movies, Jaws, Close Encounters, and 1941, which had all run wildly over schedule and over budget. Even though the production cost of Raiders would triple the $20 million during its conception, the film was delivered within its finally intended budget and ahead of schedule. This was 1981's biggest grossing film by a wide margin. George Lucas first dreamed up the idea of an adventurous archaeologist about the same time he came up with the idea for the Flash Gordon-type space story that became Star Wars. On the bonus features DVD, John Rhys Davies talks about how he auditioned for the role of Sallah. He was concerned since the script originally described Sallah as a 5'2" skinny Egyptian digger. Steven Spielberg mentioned that when he first heard Rhys Davies speak, he reminded him of the Shakespearean character Falstaff. Spielberg then told Rhys Davies that for his performance as Sallah to combine his earlier role as Vasco Rodriguez in the miniseries Shogun with the character of Falstaff. George Lucas directed a few second unit shots, in particular the monkey giving the Nazi salute. Philip Kaufman shares story credit with George Lucas because they originally worked on the film together in the late 1970s. Kaufman was Lucas's first choice to direct and came up with the idea to pursue The Lost Ark of the Covenant. Indy's battered leather jacket was actually brand new and had to be artificially aged by the costume department. There were 10 jackets in general for general wear and tear and stunt purposes. Indiana Jones's hat came from the famous Herbert Johnson hat shop in Savile Row, London. The hat was the shop's poet model. On the bonus features DVD, a costume designer, Deborah Nadelman, said that in order to properly age the hat, she grabbed and twisted the hat, then she and Harrison Ford both sat on it. And eventually it looked like a, quote, very lived in, well loved hat. The opening scene in the Lost South American Temple was partly based on, we mentioned this, on a classic Disney Ducks adventure written by legendary artist Carl Barks, many of whose comic books have inspired George Lucas and Steven Spielberg.
That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to tell earlier in the film.
Mhm. Exploring a lost temple, Donald Duck, his nephews, and Scrooge McDuck must evade a succession of booby traps like flying darts, a decapitating blade, a huge boulder, a tunnel flooded with a torrent of gushing water, etc. In the story, The Prize of Pizarro, Uncle Scrooge number 26, June and August 1959, which hit the newsstands when Lucas and Spielberg, both avowed fans of that comic book, were respectively 15 and 12 years old. Another Barks story, The Seven Cities of Cibola, Uncle Scrooge number 7, September 7th, 1954, has a Native American lost city and a valuable idol that triggers a giant round rock to smash everything in its way. The giant boulder that chases after Indiana Jones at the start of the film was made of fiberglass. On the bonus features DVD, sound designer Ben Burt said that in order to get the proper sound effects for the giant boulder, he and the sound crew tried pushing boulders down a hill. But the sounds they were getting weren't what they were looking for. Later that day, as they were leaving a Honda Civic coasting down a gravel embankment, Burt noticed that the sound was just what they were looking for. So he grabbed a microphone, held it near one of the Civic's rear tires to record the effect. Cameo, Frank Marshall, Congo, pilot of the. He plays the pilot of the Flying Wing. All of the stuntmen were sick on the day that Marion hits the pilot of the Flying Wing over the head, so producer Frank Marshall agreed to do it. Unfortunately for him, the shot took 3 days, and a lot of it involved him sitting in the cockpit that was in excess of 100 degrees. All right. Well, we read off a few more of these. Sorry. The out of control airplane actually ran over Harrison Ford's knee. Ow. Tearing a ligament in his left leg. Lucky for him, the heat had turned the rubber tires soft, so it did not crush the bone. Rather than submit to Tunisian healthcare, Ford had his knee wrapped in ice and carried on. Production designer Norman Reynolds found a rusty-looking ship that was perfect for the Bantu wind. However, when time came for this sequence to be filmed, he was horrified to discover the ship had been repainted and now looked pristine. It had to be swiftly repainted to achieve its distressed look. In a deleted scene where Sala is confronted by a Nazi soldier, John Rhys Davies, who was suffering from cholera at the time, was required to bend down. Unfortunately, this prompted the very sick Rhys Davies to soil himself. Ouch. Everybody got sick on this movie.
Yeah, they pretty much did, yeah.
Indy's whip is 10 feet long. Why, thank you. Although some shorter versions were used. I'm 12 people. I'm 12. Indy's whip is 10 feet long, although some shorter versions were used depending on the shot required. Okay, 3 different stuntmen were used to double for Harrison Ford. Vic Armstrong when riding the horse, Martin Grace the falling statue, and Terry Leonard when pulled behind the truck. Most of the body blow sounds were created by hitting a pile of leather jackets with a baseball bat. To create the sound of the heavy lid of the Ark being slid open, sound designer Ben Burt simply recorded him moving the lid of his toilet cistern at home. During filming in Tunisia, nearly everyone in the cast and crew got sick, except director Steven Spielberg. It is thought that he avoided illness by eating only the food he'd brought with him, a lot of cans of SpaghettiOs. Let me scroll through a few of these. Indiana Jones' name comes from the name of Marcia Lucas's dog, and it is a play on Steve McQueen's eponymous character named Nevada Smith. Indiana the dog was a Malamute. Steven Spielberg was quoted as saying, "I made it as a B movie. I didn't see the film as anything more than a better made version of the Republic serials." Cameo, Dennis Muren. He appears as a Nazi spy who is tracking Indiana Jones on the airplane. Only his eyes can be seen, though, as most of his face is hidden behind a magazine he's reading, which is Life, Volume 1, Number 2, November 30th, 1936, which has pages 42 and 43 dedicated to the watercolor paintings of Adolf Hitler. Cameo, Glenn Randall Jr., the stunt coordinator, appears as the mechanic with the monkey wrench in the flying wing. George Lucas made what was at the time an unusual deal for this film. The studio, Paramount Pictures, would finance the film's entire $20 million budget. In exchange, Lucas would own over 40% of the film and collect almost half of the profits after the studio grossed a certain amount. It turned out to be a very lucrative deal for Lucas. Paramount executive and future Disney CEO Michael Eisner said that he felt the script for this film was the best he'd ever read. Just before the fight around the flying wing, Gobler, played by Anthony Higgins, says to Dietrich Wolfkaller in German, "The plane is ready, it can be loaded." Mm-hmm. And for those of you who might not remember, Anthony Higgins also plays the villain, Professor Wraith, who's ultimately revealed to be Moriarty in Young Sherlock Holmes, which was 4 years later. Okay. Actresses into running to play Marion. Jane Seymour, Barbara Hershey, Lisa Eilbacher, Mary Steenburgen, Amy Irving. Well, we know how that went. Dee Wallace, Valerie Bertinelli, Linda Pearl, Patty Durbinville, Stephanie Zimbalist, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Deborah Winger. Sean Young screen tested with Tom Selleck. Tim Matheson and John Shea were used for Karen Allen's screen test. Sean Young would later star opposite Ford in Blade Runner, and Wallace would co-star in Spielberg's E.T. with Peter Coyote, who also read for the role of Indy. All right, let me scroll. The Wilhelm scream, as one of the Germans falls out of the back of the truck Indy is driving. The name Marion Ravenwood is a combination of two names. Marion was the grandmother of Lawrence Kasdan's wife, and Ravenwood was from Ravenwood Court, a small street off Beverly Glen. Instead of the standard Paramount logos used between 1975 and 87, the opening logo was a version of the studio logo used in the 1940s or 50s, which read a Paramount Picture. The only difference is it also read a Gulf and Western Company. This logo was also used in the sequels instead of the then current logos to parallel the franchise's set time period. The instructions for the construction of the Ark are found in Exodus 25:10. The clothing that Belog wears while acting as a high priest during the ceremony at the end is found beginning in Exodus chapter 28. For the conceptual process and drawings, Ralph McQuarrie was not brought in, but instead George Lucas brought in Marvel artist Jim Steranka. Check him out on Twitter. He's a hoot. However, McQuarrie did provide the illustration of the Ark scene in the large Bible at the college. Voted number 20 in Channel 4, the UK's greatest family films. Cameo, Frank Welker, the prolific voice actor, provides the monkey sounds. He goes uncredited. Harrison Ford actually outran the boulder in the opening sequence. Because the scene was shot twice from 5 different angles, he had to outrun it 10 times. Ford stumbled and the scene was deemed to look authentic and was left in. Steven Spielberg and Melissa Matheson wrote a script during the shooting breaks on the location of this film. Matheson was there to visit her then husband, Harrison Ford. And Spielberg dictated to her a story idea he had. That script eventually became E.T. This was the first time Steven Spielberg ever directed in the UK. The advanced trailer for this film played up Steven Spielberg's earlier films, with the exception of 1941, which was considered a failure at the time.
Now it's a classic.
According to Graham Hancock's book, The Sign and the Seal, the Lost Ark of the Covenant resides in the city of Axum, Ethiopia, at the St. Mary of Zion Church.
And I believe it was on one of the Discovery channels had a show about it. Pretty quite interesting.
There is a long-standing myth that Jeff Bridges turned down the role of Indy. It was never even offered to him, which was confirmed in an article by Jake Perlman for Entertainment Weekly in 2014. Early concept art for the character who ultimately became Tote depicted him as a uniformed Nazi officer with a mechanical arm that doubled as a machine gun and a radio antenna built into his head. Okay.
Oh my God.
George Lucas dismissed this as being too far-fetched.
Yeah. Good choice.
All right. Good idea. While filming the snake scenes inside the Well of Souls, a python bit first assistant director David Tomblin's hand and wouldn't let go. Tomblin calmly asked someone to grab the python, still attached to his hand, by the tail and whip it so that the snap would send a wave up the snake's body and force it to let go. A stagehand did just that. The python released its bite from Tomblin's hand, and Tomblin got medical attention. The python itself was not injured.
They do have sharp teeth, pythons.
Yes, they do. During the filming of the Well of Souls sequence, a python died after being bitten by a cobra. The tune that Sala keeps singing, A British Tar is a Soaring Soul, is from Gilbert and Sullivan's HMS Pinafore. He also sings the words, I am the monarch of the sea, ruler of the Queen's Navy, from the song Give Three Cheers, which is from the same musical. A British Tar is the same song that Captain Picard sings to distract an out-of-control Commander Data in Star Trek Insurrection. Okay, we brought this up early in the show. The sacred idol of the Havitos, of which Dr. Jones takes possession at the beginning of the film, is apparently a fertility goddess. It is a molten image of a woman squatting down and giving birth. Okay, when Brody first goes to Indy's house to discuss the mission, Jones is dressed the way he is because he is entertaining a young woman in his bedroom. The script originally planned to show her before moving to the next scene to give Indy a more worldly persona like James Bond. However, her appearance was cut as Steven Spielberg thought that being a playboy did not fit Indy's character. This also helps explain why several of the co-eds fawn over Jones and why one girl wrote "Love You" on her eyelids. The flying wing in the fighting scene in Egypt is not a real plane. It was designed for the movie by production designer Norman Reynolds and built by Vickers. It was inspired by several German flying wing designs of the time period. Cameo, Terry Leonard, the stuntman who appears as the German truck driver, also performed numerous stunts as Indy, including jumping from the horse to the truck and sliding under the truck. Sam Neill was at one point considered for the role of Indiana Jones. He would eventually play a character with an iconic hat of his own in another Spielberg-directed movie, playing Alan Grant in Jurassic Park. Kathleen Kennedy is listed as, quote, associate to Mr. Spielberg in the credits. She has since co-founded Amblin Entertainment and is the president of Lucasfilm. And we know how that went.
Yeah.
Anime voice actor Bob Pappenbrook voiced some of the screaming natives chasing Indiana. Indy's primary weapon is a Smith & Wesson model 1917 45 caliber ACP revolver with the barrel cut down from 6 inches to 4 inches. He also carries as a backup weapon a Browning high-powered 9mm automatic used during the shootout in Marion's Tavern in Nepal. The Well of Souls sequence was filmed on the same soundstage that was previously used for the Overlook Hotel for The Shining. One of the unique selling points of the Indiana Jones movies was their sound quality. Ben Burtt, the sound designer, said that the sounds used after the Ark was opened were synthesized using German vocalizations and recorded animal cries of dolphins and sea lions to make it sound otherworldly. The sounds for the subsequent sparkle and beams were recorded with the old gear used for the early Frankenstein movies. The original Raiders treatment by George Lucas was handwritten. I'll read a few more of these and then we'll call it. Steven Spielberg cast Karen Allen after seeing her in Animal House.
Yeah.
The opening scene in the Peruvian jungle was filmed on the island of Kauai, Hawaii, where Steven Spielberg would return to film Jurassic Park.
Mentioned that too earlier.
Yep. Okay.
We're going to call it closed.
I'm going to hold on.
Okay.
I keep getting messages here. All right. I'm going to read off. I'm going to read off one more here. It's a long one, but might be interesting. Scenes cut from the film. In the uncut conversation between Indy and Marion at the Raven Bar, Marion explains the cause of Abner's death and tells Indy about the difficult last 2 years of her life. After having arranged the following day's appointment for the delivery of the medallion, Indy turns to leave, only to return under Marion's urge. She grabs his jacket and pulls him in close for a kiss. The whole Raven Bar scene was cut because it was considered too long. The kissing part can be seen in the Making of Raiders of the Lost Ark documentary. The scene appears in a script draft, the novelization, and a Marvel Comics movie adaptation. A plot element involving the Ark of the Covenant was cut from the film and is only hinted at during the finale. When the arc is opened, basically there are two rules about the arc not mentioned in the final cut of the film. Um, hold on, let me get rid of this. Okay. Let me see. Basically, there are two rules about the arc not mentioned in the final cut of the film. One, if you touch the arc, you die. If you look at the arc when it's opened, you die. When This is first explained in additional dialogue for the scene when Indy and Salah visit the Imam. Before translating the writings on the headpiece that give the height of the staff of Ra, the Imam warns Indy not to touch the ark or look at it when it's opened. The next scene involving this arc subplot is when Salah and Indy remove the ark from the Well of Souls. When Salah first sees it, he reaches out to touch it. Indy stops him before he does and reminds him of the Imam's warning. They then insert long poles through each side of the ark to lift it out of its crypt. Notice that nobody ever touches the ark throughout the rest of the film until the finale. When Indiana Jones is in the map room trying to find the exact location of the Well of Souls, two German soldiers approach Salah and order him to help them remove their truck that has been stuck in the sand. In the process, Salah loses the rope, which he was supposed to help Indy get out of the map room. In a continuing scene, we see Salah entering a German tent looking for something to substitute his missing rope, and a while later, he comes up with a quote unquote rope made out of bed sheets and a Nazi flag. What we don't see is Salah in a state of panic, wandering in the Nazi camp at breakfast time. A group of German soldiers ask him to serve them water from a Marmite. Salah spills the content of the Marmite on the German officers' uniforms and leaves, promising to return with fresh water. The scene called for smoke in the background, but unfortunately, the tires used to produce the smoke were too many, thus making the scene too dark. Steven Spielberg opted to cut the scene instead of spending half a day shooting it again. With Indy and Marion left to suffocate in the Well of Souls, the Germans decided Salah should be executed. A young soldier was supposed to carry out the job, but things changed when he started having second thoughts. A German youth vacationing in Tunisia had been hired for the part. The funny thing was that this inexperienced young man managed to express brilliantly the moral dilemma of a young soldier forced to decide whether or not to kill a harmless stranger. This is the business of foreign wars, and this unknown German boy was able to convey it as well as any actor. The result was beyond description. With this German student playing an intensely moving and emotional scene, and making David Wisniewicz, I guess, I don't know, and Karen Allen call it the greatest moment since the film began. Steven Spielberg said the bitter truth was that, brilliant and memorable though the scene was, it would probably end up on the cutting room floor because it was just too long. So it did. There was a small cut during the scene where Indy and Marion escaped from the Well of Souls. When Indy pushes the large stone brick out of the room filled with mummies, there is an Arab guard standing outside. When the Arab and Indy come face to face, Indy simply knocks him unconscious. Evidence of this scene still remains in the film. As Indy steps out of the chamber, he pauses and looks to the left side of the screen. In the following shot, when Indy and Marion run from the building to the German plane, the Arab is visible lying on the ground by the building. Indy surviving the submarine journey by lashing himself to the periscope with his whip. In the final film, the plot hole goes largely unnoticed. Most people seem to assume that either Indy snuck inside the sub or that it stayed on the ocean surface for the duration of the trip. This cutscene did appear in the Marvel Comics adaptation. According to the script, Abner Ravenwood was killed in an avalanche. Unlike Indiana Jones, neither Harrison Ford nor Steven Spielberg have a fear of snakes. All right. Like I said, there's a lot more. It's on IMDb. If you have a few hours, feel free to read the rest. All right.
Cool.
The scrolls are closed.
Now we can tell them what we got in store for them next Thursday. Same Deleted Scene channel, same Outlaw Bill channel. Here on Action Theater, we are going to be playing the 1986 Big Trouble in Little China. Yes, that's what we're playing next week here on Action Theater Presents. Right there. Or just the background. There we go. There's the background. That's what we'll be playing next week here on these channels. And come back on for Western Cinema, where we were showing the first episode of 1883 and the second episode. And there's a total of 10, and we'll play those until we're done. That's what we got coming up, and Deleted Scenes I can tell you about what he's got coming up.
All right.
Go ahead.
As for myself, later on tonight, coming attractions, we get to find out what I am going to be up to in the next week. And I just noticed it says 11 a.m. and at 11 p.m. I'll have to change that. Whoops. But I'll see to that. I'm going to see if I can try and maybe fit in an unboxing tonight because I got a package. So
say hello to his package.
Yes, I received the mysterious package in the mail. Maybe it's the Grail Diary. Who knows? All right. So also, hold on. Like I said, like Bill said, I'll be joining him for 1883 for Western Cinema Presents this Sunday. Tomorrow night at a special time, 7:30 Eastern, I will be joining Big Al Presents for Films with Friends. This week's movie will be Capricorn 1. James Brolin. Is it? I keep wanting to say James Brolin is in the movie, but I'm not sure. But I do know that Elliot Gould is, as well as Sam Waterston, and O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, James Brolin is Josh Brolin's father.
Yeah,
he played that Thanos guy, and he was in Goonies. He's been getting around his prodigy, his son. Yeah, definitely go check that out. Yeah.
Sunday night will be my program Unscripted. Topic to be determined. Find out tonight, and at that'll be at 8 p.m. and at 11, reserved seats returns. 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser will be my guest. It will be his first appearance on the show. So please join us for that. And then, of course, next Tuesday night, live from Sparkwood and 21. That'll be at 8:30. I'll be joined by Shirley and Netter and Boomer. And then, of course, join us next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Adventure June returns with John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China. And I want to thank everyone who joined us, either on Cosme or in the live chat.
Yeah.
Or those of you who might have stopped by, even if it was just for a few moments. I think we had over 150 people watching at one time or another during the course of the show. So thank you all very much for joining us, and we are planning something special for you guys next month, because we found out that there is another movie.
Yep.
That is about to have a 40th anniversary.
40th anniversary, yeah.
And we will be celebrating.
Oh, yeah.
And should I go ahead and say now, or should I save it?
No. You can tell them.
Okay. We are going to celebrate the 40th anniversary of James Cameron's Aliens.
Yep.
Yes.
The extended version.
Yes, we are going to be watching the extended version. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be next month, correct?
Yep. It falls on a Tuesday, the 14th.
Yeah.
We're gonna work it out, and you'll still be doing your later show programs on Tuesday, because Tuesday's a big day for you. An eventful day.
But
so,
there's plenty of time. We got a month, more than a month to plan it all out. But we will be showing Aliens on the 14th to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Aliens.
That's the goal, to do it on the 14th. If we have to adjust it, we will. We'll do it accordingly.
As of right now, I think we'll be okay. We had and tomorrow, of course, is the 45th anniversary of the film that we did this evening, Raiders. So, celebrate that.
Check your local theaters. Try to catch it in the theaters, the big screen. It's worth seeing on the big screen.
Right on. So I want to
go ahead.
Right. Okay.
You go, and then I'll go.
Right. So thank you all once again for joining us for this broadcast. And as I always say, at the end of every show from HQ and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond, good night. Take care. Stay strong. Be safe and healthy, because this is how we win.
And as I'll always say, always be excellent to one another. Party on. And like Jack Burton always says, he doesn't go looking for trouble. Trouble finds him, but he just knows how to deal with it. Good night, everybody. See you next week.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Where's the
Dun,
button?
dun, dun.
Who's got that button?